Hello, this is Ellen. Nancy! Hi! It's so good to see you. You're on mute. You're on mute. Yeah, I can't hear you. No.
I'm on my phone, so it's a little wonky.
No, I can hear you now.
Okay, thanks.
It's so good to see you.
It's great to see you.
There's a chorus of it's good to see you. Gosh,
We're giving you the electronic standing ovation, Nancy.
that's right. That's right.
That's really good just for showing up.
That's right. Showing up is good.
Well,
That's
and
what
I'm
Woody
sorry.
Allen said. All you got to do is show up.
Is that what he said? So many
Yep.
things.
Yep. Right. Success in life is just showing up.
Good. That's a good one to keep in mind. I am sorry that for some reason my my video isn't working. Hasn't worked all day. So, but anyway, I can see you, and I think it is time to call this meeting to order.
Indeed.
So I'm Lynn Spencer. I'm chairing the Community Preservation Committee for the town of Nahant. With me are Paul Spurn, Ellen Goldberg, Nancy Catalma, Hooray, and Austin Antrim. And as a guest, an honored guest, we have Trish Aldrich.
Right.
Always glad to see you, Trish. So let me see. I sent out a little while ago a grant summary of the grants that I had seen, along with copies of those grants. But before we go on to that heady subject, let's take a look at the minutes from the meeting of the 13th, which Austin kindly distributed earlier today.
Right. Ellen, are you going to post those or should I press on? I've started the process.
I didn't review them yet. I've been.
All right.
But
Well, do you have them? Do you want to?
They were sent out at 5:33, so I can pull
Yeah,
There's
I
two.
know. I know. Not
No, but
complaining,
there's
just
two
asking,
No, I
just
know.
asking who's going to do it. That's all.
There's two attachments.
Um,
Let's see. Okay, but okay, so it looks like one's from 12/16 that were approved, and then then the other one from 1/13. So that's the one we want to review, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the one from 113. I sent that out again myself.
Yeah, it comes out, went
Were
out
there any
twice.
changes, or can I just show the one that Austin sent?
No, the one he sent.
Okay,
Good. All right, you'll do that. Super.
done.
Well, it's too fast. My eyes are too slow. Okay. I don't know anybody else's pace, but since I complained, I thought I'd speak up.
You get the prize, Paul. You get the prize.
First to complain.
Uh-huh. So are there any comments or edits on the minutes?
I think they're just fine. I would move to accept them as they've been beautifully prepared by Austin.
Thank you. Do I have a second for that?
I will second that.
Okay. All in favor of accepting the minutes of the 13th of January? Paul,
Aye.
Ellen,
Aye.
Nancy?
I don't think I can since I wasn't there.
That's right. Okay. Austin,
Aye.
chair votes aye. I think we're fine. We are missing Dave Wilson tonight, so sorry about that, but very glad to have Nancy here.
Oh, yeah.
Now, before I sort of move on any further in this meeting, is there another person willing to take the minutes?
Lynn, I'll take minutes again tonight, since I got off easy in the last two meetings.
So I'm trying to figure out where my halo is in order to sort of share it with you, but I'll find it, I'm sure. So thank you, Austin. I appreciate that.
I can see it.
Okay. So for tonight, which of you, Ellen or Paul, would be willing to put up on the screen the chart that I sent out summarizing the grant applications that we had received?
Right. You sent out the same one twice. Is that correct?
I did because I sent out two other applications.
I just want to make sure. That's all.
Yeah, there was no
Just
change in that.
checking.
But I had two
Yes.
more applications received, and one of them I'm still looking for.
I'm looking for that too, Lynn, and I emailed Kristen for that, but.
Yeah.
So it's on it shows that it was submitted and received on that chart, but I just don't see it anywhere.
So Trish, we don't want you to get any anxious about this. We know your application was received. We just don't have a physical copy of it. And by the way, there's two wonderful Kristens. There's Kristen Potter from our website, person, and then there's Kristen Taylor from Town Hall. Kristen Potter sent out the screenshot saying, yes, it had been received.
Okay, so I think I've shared that grid, have I?
Yes, could you actually scroll up to the top of the page? Yep, there you go.
Nahant Preservation Trust.
That's right.
Yeah, it must be too small. There must be something I should do to make it easier to read, don't you think?
I don't know. It looks perfectly fine on my screen. Anyone else?
Any complaints? Suggestions for improvement, I should say.
It looks fine, Paul. Thank you.
All right, good. Okay, great.
So these are following the same order of the eligibility applications. I just made no changes, but I think I probably will be doing some editing from this chart. But starting at the top, we've received the application from the Nahant Preservation Trust for the life-saving station roof. They're asking for $150,000. They're prepared to match it with $30,000 for a total project cost of $180,000. And that's under the category of historic preservation. Next is the Johnson Elementary School greenhouse. I was just keeping this for the record, but I think moving forward, since this was judged not eligible, I will amend this eliminate this from the future charts. Is everyone in agreement with that?
No, I think that's a great idea, just in terms of keeping things straight.
Right.
Why don't we maintain the numbers that we have already given things, or decide that we're going to renumber them once now that we have a list of eligible projects? We have to do one or the other, but I think we need to decide which one we're going to do.
Anyone? I'd actually just renumber them numerically.
Okay, fine. So next week or whenever, they will have their numbers forever. Okay.
That's right.
Good.
The next one is the Housing Authority. Folks, just to be very clear about this is actually for all 4 properties on Spring Road.
Okay, thank you.
So when you get the opportunity to review that application in detail, you will see that described. You'll also see estimates in the application for those roofs.
So this isn't number 4 Spring Road. It's 4 properties on Spring.
4 Spring Road properties. That's what it
Got it.
says.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the total is $40,000 for 4 properties.
That's what they're asking for.
Wow, okay.
The next one is the American Legion, Town of Nahant, the 2 flagpoles at Veterans Park, $9,243.
Did I sleep through something? I thought it was 1 pole and it was a lot less than 9,000, but maybe I'm just imagining this whole thing.
Let me get you a cup of coffee because I think you had been sleeping.
Okay,
It's exactly the same number that was brought
okay,
forward before.
okay,
Exactly the
okay.
same.
Maybe what I'm remembering is I thought Dana said that he was sure it was going to come in for less, but that's what they thought for then. But again, I may have made that up too. Okay,
I don't know.
yep, okay.
The next one from the planning board for the master plan was withdrawn. So that will come off the chart.
Yep. Mhm.
Next is the Nahant Public Library. Their initial eligibility application was for $280,000. However, when you have a chance to read their full application, you'll see that they are coming in for $332,964 because they wanted to include some other alternates that they were considering important to securing a weather-tight building envelope.
Huh.
Okay. Next on the list is from the town of Nahant, the Pleasant Street Playground for $50,000. It's under this category of open space and recreation.
That's the playground next to the library, is that right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Got it. Mhm.
And then from open space, I honestly, I'll need your verification, Trish, that this number is still the number that's in your application, 49,500, or
No,
is that
that's,
changed?
no, Lynn, maybe that's last year's number. I don't know. This year's number is for the grant request is 39,345.
Okay, no, this was the number that came in on the eligibility. So if this
okay.
has changed, so I'm sorry, can you just give that to me again?
Yes, $39,345.
Okay. Great. That helps our bottom line a little bit.
It doesn't hurt. Okay.
Okay. And then Paul, if you'll just kindly continue to scroll down. Okay. So we need to carry, I mean, we have in the past carried $10,000 for under administration for dues, printing the town warrant, grant preparation assistance, which so far nobody has really asked us for. But significantly, we have 3 bonds. We have a bond from fiscal year 19 which has a payment due of 38,000. Fiscal year 22 for 45,000, and this was for the library and the town hall. And then there was another one, fiscal year 23 for the town hall, library, and cemetery and that will have 55,000 due. So our total of the grant appropriation so far, minus that $10,000 that Trish just gave us as a present, will be somewhere around $769,000. It's going to be in that neighborhood. And if we, Paul, continue to scroll down a little bit. You'll see the dilemma that we're in. We are projecting $432,258 from fiscal year this 3% surcharge plus the state match, that's being estimated at 40%, because as you've heard from me on several other occasions, we're looking at a little bit more of a conservative match from the state than we have been enjoying in the past. We have a general reserve of $134,727. We have a housing reserve of $95,797. But the money that's eligible for us for use this year excludes that housing reserve, and that is $566,985. And that would say we're going to spend all of our general reserve, which has not been a policy that we have been working with in the past, although I think we have some exceptional requests this coming year. So I'll stop talking a moment and let everyone sort of absorb this a little bit and
Lynn,
and come
why
forward
is
with
the
questions.
housing reserve money not able to be used for the roofs?
It can be, Nancy, but in fact, just a reminder that of the fiscal year $23,000, fiscal year 26, 10% of our annual appropriation gets dedicated to community housing.
Right.
So that $40,000 will come out of this year's appropriation.
Oh, you're saying that the requests for that money, the dibs on that money, are already contained in this year's appropriation
That's
because
right.
it's not even 10% of that. Okay.
Right. And actually, technically, $3,225, the balance that isn't used towards that, of that 10% would go
Yeah.
into the reserve,
Right. Into the housing reserve.
into the housing reserve. Yeah.
Right.
I have
Lynn-
another question.
Mhm.
Can you make me understand why the roof repair is not maintenance, but it's restoration? Not on the housing, I mean, on the the
Life-saving
the
station?
life-saving station, thank you.
Well, I think both of them could be sort of, you could say to yourself, oh, that's a maintenance project. Both of those roofs could be construed that way. As a matter of policy, however, we have been saying these are preservation projects, and, we've been actually passing them under that guise. With the life-saving station, and when you have a chance to read the application, you'll see that that roof was replaced in 2000, just a year after the town received the buildings from the General Service Administration after the Coast Guard pulled out of them. And that roof is coming to the end of its service life. I think the application, proposes to replace it with a stained red cedar shingle roof, so it continues this sort of historic appearance of the building. So it could be actually also called a restoration.
Okay, thank you.
But the real story here is that we have more applications than we have money. So we're going to have to make some tough decisions here. What
Well,
other
we've done
questions do
what
we
we've done
have?
in the past is to go the bonding route.
Right, and we can see what's happening to us if we can
Yep.
scroll up a little bit when we go
Yep.
back to that bonding story.
Yep.
Because right now, the subtotal of those three bonds is
There they are.
pulling about $120,000 out of our
Yeah.
funding per year.
Here they are.
Yeah. So they will continue sort of diminish over time, but they
Right.
are a draw on us. And I'll just have to remind everyone that we have a town meeting that has approved a $1.5 million 30-year bond for the Northeastern, related to East Point preservation. And that, has been an extended legal situation, as we all are aware, but that could come due anytime soon. So we have to be careful about marshaling our resources. The first year on that bond could have a call of $90,000, just to give you perspective on that.
And would it be 90,000 more or less every year thereafter, or does
No,
it
it
change
diminishes over
dramatically?
time. It diminishes
Yeah.
over time, but that would be 30 years of starting at
Wow.
$90,000.
Wow.
So if we were to just say, oh, if this were to happen this year, which, maybe it could,
Yeah. Mhm.
$210,000 of our money would be tied up in bond situations.
Yeah. With that in mind, Lynn, is it possible to add somewhere on this wonderful grid the termination date for each of these bonds?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
I
then,
could get that. Yeah.
yeah, and then the contingent situation of the East Point bond.
I would appreciate us keeping that in mind, but I actually don't want to put it on this chart at this point because
Fine.
it's not an operational
Yep.
thing.
Yep, that's fine.
Other questions or comments on what we've seen so far? I'm kind of liking the fact that you can't see my face right now because you can't see my expression. That's kind of an advantage.
Well,
I think what
subtitles on a movie,
yeah,
you can have in parentheses scowl or grin or
grin.
something of the
Yeah.
sort.
Something of the sort. So, folks, what I'd like to do is to set up. We have accountability to our friends at FinCom and the Board of Selectmen and getting ready for the town warrant. So, I'd like to set up meetings over the next 2 Mondays with our applicants. Giving you all the chance to really read through these applications carefully. And then giving our applicants a chance to sort of help us understand what they're thinking and how they came to their applications. So we could potentially start with, for instance, the next Monday, we could start with the Nahant Preservation Trust and the Housing Authority, for instance, and maybe the American Legion. I think we could probably do 3.
Yeah, I think we could.
Okay. And then the next Monday, which would be the 10th, we could do the other 3.
Well, those are juicier. I think there's going to be more to discuss there, but we could try.
Well, the first 3 are the Nahant Preservation Trust, the Housing Authority, and the American Legion.
Mhm.
And the next would be the library, the playground, and Bailey's Hill.
Yeah, no, I think I
If-
reconsider that. It's probably not as substantial as I thought. Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds doable to me.
I'll just have to make sure that the applicants are available. So I'll do some mixing and moving if I need to. And I
Yeah.
know by then, probably tomorrow morning, we'll get the Bailey's Hill application so that can be added to the package that has been sent to you. I think one of the big questions for each of these applicants is are there other sources of funding that could supplement your application or stand in for it? And I think one of the big questions we really have is with the public library. I have somebody who has raised their hand, but I'm not sure who that is.
Hi, Lynn. This is Dana Sheehan, 40 Valley Road.
Hi, Dana. How are you?
How's everybody? I'm doing well, thanks. How's everybody else doing?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I noticed you going over the numbers. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, you guys are gonna have to make some tough decisions. I welcome the fact that you guys will be doing it. Thank you. And we can make it next. I can attend, and the town veteran service officer. I'll see if he can get it to attend as well
Okay.
next Monday for
Good.
discussion about
Good.
flagpoles.
Okay.
That's great, Dana. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. That's
Okay.
all.
All right. Very good.
So that's when we got to read for next Monday.
Yeah. So for next Monday, let's be prepared to talk to Dana with the American Legion, the Housing Authority, and the Nahant Preservation Trust. That will be Emily Potts and perhaps others from her group.
Who would be from the Housing Authority, Lynn?
Not sure who I have to look at their application for a second.
Kelly Collins, Executive Director.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Dana.
Yeah.
Kelly Collins. Yeah.
Good.
Dana, are you on the Housing Authority as well?
That's right. I'm one of the commissioners on the board.
Okay.
Oh,
Great.
great.
So this will be good. You'll be able to be participating in two of these sessions.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
All you need is two hats. You're in business.
Okay. Before we move on to what could be coming to the end of this meeting, Ellen, I was just curious if you were hearing any comments from applicants on how the application process has been going for them as they filled out this fillable PDF.
No, I haven't had any feedback, and I know we have a couple of the applicants here, and I didn't know if they would be able or willing to share their experiences submitting. But I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Trish, that's you.
Yeah, I can share on behalf of the Open Space Committee. Let's see, we actually used a team approach with a seasoned member of the committee and a newer member of the committee. The thinking behind that being to build capacity among the committee members. And they reported to me that that the process worked well. Definitely, period. I should say that a little differently. It worked well.
Okay.
It would have been nice to be able to see, say, a PDF of the whole application, so you kind of knew the different categories before filling it in page by page and doing next, if you see what I mean. And see the layout of the whole application was their comment. And they also had a little difficulty uploading the budget in that section where it says like upload budget. Our committee member tried to do it and couldn't do it. It just wouldn't upload. In the end, they did all the work on it. And then as the committee chair, I was the one who actually did the final submit part. And when I was doing that, I uploaded the budget and it worked fine for me on my computer. We also, I'm almost done here. We had two other attachments, a map of the area. And then the proposal was that we also wanted to upload, so that would be a total of 3 attachments. And I guess the committee found that was a little bit difficult to do and ended up uploading those other 2 attachments under the a section that was a little bit lower down on the page. I forget what it was called, but that was the only place they could do it, so they did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so maybe an additional spot to upload additional attachments that might not have a home.
Yes.
Lynn,
Exactly.
I've got some
all in
feedback that Ann passed on to me.
Mhm,
And that is that different sections in the report have limits to the amount of information you can add. She
mhm,
thought, and I don't know exactly which ones, but she thought that some of those limits were really quite restrictive and didn't give you enough chance to describe what you were doing or give all the information that was necessary.
mhm.
And
Okay.
so number one would be to increase the limits of data in the individual blocks. And the other is when there's a limit, most online um, applications that I've seen usually tell you how many letters you've got and how many you've
Right.
used and what you got left.
Yep.
And that was not the case. And maybe it is the case. Maybe we thought it was the case, but at least for this submission from the library, it was not the case. So as a result, I think we'll all see when we read it that there's a tremendous amount of material in the one or two blocks that didn't have limits. That's where it got put.
Mhm.
Okay.
So if you want it in places where you expect to find it, then we need to make sure that there's enough space. And Ellen, maybe you can tell me when designing a web page, is there any downside to having unlimited space except the fact that somebody who will remain nameless might well have used that space to add more material than anybody could possibly want to read?
Well, there's that, but there's also, keep in mind, what is it that you want from your applicants? You do want
Right.
somewhat concise stories. You don't want,
Right.
an unlimited. So think, if you would like a 250 word essay or a 2-page essay, 500 words, you know what I mean? Like you have to really think about what you want and a shorter, or at least something with some limit, and I don't know what the limits are.
Right.
But some limit I would recommend.
I think that's fine. I think that's a question of trial and error. What we think a block of data is sufficient might in fact not be, but we won't know that until people try to explain themselves and give the information they think we need to know. But
Yeah.
in any case, whenever there's a limit, it ought to be very clear, I think, at the beginning of the block, you have so many words, this
Yeah,
is a
yeah, how many characters?
500 words, and there ought to be something keeping track somewhere of where
Yeah,
you
it's
stand.
usually characters, but yeah.
It is characters, that's right. But I never know, I can't figure characters. I think more in words, but whatever you think modus,
No,
the usual
I think it's valid. It's
style is,
totally
yeah.
valid. I mean, the points that you've both brought up so far, I mean, I think they're valid. So, I think we'll make note of it for the next revision for next year. I think I also, I did, it might have been in the thing I sent around, but I think we had talked about like having some kind of PDF with the whole application, at least the
Yeah.
questions, so you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah, right,
And you
right.
could prepare it in a Word doc and then just copy and paste it in as you go along.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's right.
Exactly.
And you should be able to print out what you submit.
You will get that, but you'll get that at the end. You'll get your own copy. So
Oh, you do?
yes, when you submit it, you
I
should
didn't
get
know
your
that.
own copy. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So then you can, and you should get the PDF, consolidated PDF. Is that right, Trish? Did you get the consolidated PDF?
Whatever we got was really good and useful.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate that feedback. Are there any other comments or questions about tonight's meeting and what we are doing over the next several weeks? Well, I could be requesting in that case, since I've only heard silence, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
Second.
All in favor of adjournment? Paul,
Aye.
Ellen,
Hi.
Nancy,
I.
Austin.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We are adjourned. Very grateful to have everyone here. Thank you so much, Ellen, for everything you've done to make these applications work. Along with
Absolutely.
Nancy, who was in on that in the very
You're
beginning.
right.
And we're so very glad to see you here tonight, Nancy, and we hope
You're
we'll see
right.
you next Monday.
Yes, you will.
Present at the
Excellent.
creation.
Excellent. All right. Thanks all. And
Lynn,
more later.
can I give you a call? You're going to be reachable?
Yes, yes. I'm just in
Okay.
the office right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll give you a buzz in a minute. Okay.
Okay. Very good. Thanks
Good night,
all.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank
night.
you.